My name is Jake Port. I am an assistant lecturer in the Global Challenges team and also an alumni of the course. So I completed the course in 2017, I think. For any of you that have questions afterwards, happy to answer things both with our student ambassadors and also myself about what it's like to be on the teaching side and also to be on the student side as well. I think what would be best is I'm going to swap screens again and let our course director, Associate Professor Duca Veldhuis, share a bit of an introduction for you about the course and give you some initial information.
Hello everyone, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this information session of the Bachelor of Science Advanced Global Challenges. My name is Duca Veldhuis and I'm the course director, and together with my colleagues and current students, our aim is to give you an overview of the Global Challenges degree and what it can offer. One of the reasons that I'm here as course director is because this is exactly the sort of degree I would have done if I had been able to as an undergraduate. I came into university with a really broad interest from across the sciences as well as arts and wanted to solve problems. And one of the things I recognized early on is that having a single technical track was perhaps not the best way to solve real world problems. And that's exactly why the Global Challenges degree was created. The aim is to build in all those additional skill sets that would place our students in the best possible position to solve real world problems. What does that mean in practice? Well, it means that you get a very solid science degree with a major and minor of your choice. But integrated within that degree is cross-cultural competency, leadership, teamwork, business, and entrepreneurship, to name just a few additional streams that come through our programs. It means that you will be working hand in hand with real businesses, real policy and decision makers all the way through your degree, so that you are not only working on real world problems, but are also able to build up the necessary networks to be ready to step straight into the world of work once you graduate. Our students will do absolutely everything. And we have an overview at the end of this presentation as to where some of our alumni have ended up. But what's really important is that we have the opportunity here to personalize your education in the direction that you're interested. So there's a lot of flexibility. And I think if one thing really stands out about Global Challenges is that you can pursue where you want to go. So if that means you want a language diploma alongside, say, an international research career, that is something that you can affect. You have the opportunity to go on exchange, to do international internships, and to work with the organizations that you look up to and where you would like to get the experiences moving forward into the future. Whether it is ultimately in the lab where you want to be, working for a Big Four bank, affecting change inside a major international corporation, or starting your own business. The Global Challenges degree gives you the baseline and the platform and a series of lenses and toolkits to be able to affect that change in a meaningful and timely manner. Thank you for your attention. I will now hand over to my colleague, Jake.
Cool, thank you very much for that, Duca. I'm going to do another screen swap because you can't have too many screen swaps in one presentation. So bear with me for one moment. Great, cool. Leading on from what Duca has been saying, I just want to first introduce our student ambassadors for tonight. So Michaela mentioned it before, we've got Mark Ziegler and Tara Graves, who I'm very grateful to have here tonight. Lots of experience both within the course and also the other things that they've been doing outside the course, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions later as well. I'm just going to move forward. So in terms of an introduction about the course, I've just got some information up there, which is essentially taken from the Monash website around the entry requirements. There's a number of different entry requirements, and just because of time, I'm not going to go through every single one in detail, but you can see that general information about ATARs, which are obviously subject to change and have been adapted based on the COVID situation. The key thing to take away from this is that there is a supplementary form and an interview. Don't let that scare you if that kind of thing does scare you. The supplementary form is something that you do yourself, and we will review in the process of working out who we will be offering a course to. So we have an intake of about between 25 and 40 a year. students a year. And the interviews themselves are very relaxed. We want you to feel at ease, be yourself, and be able to talk about all the amazing things that you've been up to in a way that you don't have to feel like you're under any pressure. So as someone who's been both an interviewee and an interviewer, I know it can be very intense, but we really make a lot of effort to make it as smooth a process as possible. And we do have current students there to help allay any concerns that you might have and make it a really exciting day. In terms of the overall course structure, and I'm going to build on what Juka was saying here, as you can see, you do have your fundamental science units. So when you graduate Global Challenges, you will have a science major, one of the science majors, one of the many science majors that is available through the Faculty of Science at Monash University. You also have electives. Now, electives are an opportunity for you to really stretch yourself in terms of things that you may not want to do as part of your degree, but you have a bit of an interest in. That might be law, commerce, economics, arts, computer sciences, something that you really want to try out, but not necessarily commit to. There's a whole range of electives open to you, and it's something that is a core part of the degree in terms of diversifying your learning and opportunities. You also see that there's the impact through science units. And again, as Juka was saying, this is where the Global Challenges degree really sets itself apart from any other degrees you might have heard about tonight. So these units are called impact through science units. They take up 1 unit per semester, so one of your 4 per semester. And within that unit, we look at a huge range of different things, including those that you can see in the list there. Leadership, entrepreneurship, science communication, cross-cultural competency. We want students to be exposed to a variety of different subject areas and really diversify that learning. In terms of double majors, it's very difficult to do a double major with Global Challenges unless you've got prior credits. We'll see within Monash, there is ample opportunity in every way to try and make things work. And we will work through with you to try and make that happen. But you should really see it as a science degree major with a Global Challenges major in a way, because there is so much content that's covered and so many skills that are not only really in demand in terms of from people who are looking for jobs, but also in terms of those that want to do research, but be able to do a little bit more than just their core research functions. As I mentioned, you have access to the full range of Monash Science faculty majors, and there are so many there that I'm not going to go through all of them, but hopefully there's something there that really piques your interest. You don't have to know that now before you start university. You can try stuff out. Again, those electives are a great way to do that, but there are many, many opportunities there for you to pursue. I personally did immunology. Getting straight into the course structure. So again, because of the time we have available, I'm going to try and cover off just the overall information. Feel free to ask questions and find out more information within the breakout session or contact Juka directly. But within the first year, we really want students to delve into the world of communication and leadership, which are 2 really important skills. I apologize, I've now got a dog outside. Give me 1 second. Because unfortunately, life doesn't stop for things like this, and I do apologize for that. But as I was saying, that the first year is really focused on leadership and science communication. And the way we do this is by focusing on how science is involved in the real world. We get students to speak to leaders in their field, both within science fields, but policy, government, conservation, private industry, people who will challenge their way of thinking. So they can really build an understanding that there isn't always one way to view something, that there are many ways to think about a problem, many stakeholders and individuals that think different ways, and really finding ways to bring that together. So science policy is one way we do that. You can see here some images of students going and visiting exhibits at Melbourne Museum around air quality. We have speakers coming in regularly to talk to them, as I was mentioning before, and lots of hands-on tactile activities. There are no lectures as part of Global Challenges. It is all workshop-based, and there are no exams for the Global Challenges units specifically. It's all in class, and that's really part of the ethos of the way we want to approach, which is hands-on, in the moment, and really focusing on that development side. That then leads into the second year. The second year, we really take it up a notch, and we focus into the world of business, which is not something you normally hear when you talk about a science degree. We want students mimicking working with businesses on their projects, learning customer discovery tools, building market awareness, planning and conducting experiments, including presenting these findings. And you can see an example here where we have students who are mimicking working for major Australian organisations, understanding their businesses and trying to develop solutions to the problems that they identify within the safe space of a university degree, but as an opportunity to really try this thing out before you leave the course. That then leads into biomimicry, which is an incredibly popular part of this unit, which is essentially using nature's design principles and processes that not only benefit the environment, which has had hundreds of millions of years to perfect itself, but also to lead the design of innovative product and engineering solutions. We want, again, students to have hands-on, tactile learning experience of understanding not just how we as human beings can design solutions to the problems we experience, but how the environment and how nature, which again has had so much time to improve and perfect itself, can actually inform how we do things for ourselves. And also, this also forms part of getting students out of the classroom, getting students to see the real world outside the lecture theatre. And you can see an example of this here. Finally, as I've got here, entrepreneurship and innovation, we want to see students, and we encourage and support students in starting businesses, pitching investors, generating market traction, engaging with those already in industry to gain a diverse set of insights and experiences. We want students to know what it's like to get up there and try and convince someone that their idea actually makes sense. And I can tell you from having done it, it can be tough, but it is so exciting and such a great learning experience, and something, again, that through a standard science degree, you wouldn't normally get that kind of opportunity to do. We want students to experience the challenges and develop the creative solutions required to start their own enterprises. There is no expectation that you have to do that, but we have had a number of students who have started businesses within the course that still operate today, which is always hugely rewarding to see. Again, and also this is again overlaid with ongoing discussion with market leaders, really interesting people. I've had the privilege of meeting people, and obviously there's no guarantee we can have this year to year, but people like the former Police Chief Commissioner, Christine Nixon, Julie Bishop, Sam Prince, people who are absolutely incredible in what they did, and just so amazing to be able to meet those kinds of people and hear their stories. We're now going to talk about the third year. So the third year flows on from that second year, that sort of management consulting type work. And now we take it out into the real world properly. So in your first semester, you will do an internship. This is your own internship that you get to organize. We fully support financially to make sure that every student, no matter what their background, has an equal opportunity to do these internships and apply the skills that they've been developing. That then leads into the second semester of that third year, which is a 12-week project working with real industry partners like World Vision and the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries. And I've shamelessly included a photo of myself from my project because I'm very, very proud of what we did. But you can see that there's a huge diversity just in these 4 projects of the different types of projects that they work on. The things that they produce as part of those projects range hugely, from reports to technology, which you can see in the bottom right example, which actually led to the creation of a patent and a business, but technological design, document design, policy design, advocacy. The choice is really yours. That's a huge part of the degree. Is we want you to direct your own learning and do things that you're passionate about and you really want to go and do, not just within the course, but afterwards as well. And finally, there's a possibility of exchange. So again, within that first semester of third year, you can do exchange at the same time as well. We have a number of students that do it, absolutely love it. I would have loved to have done it at the time. It only gets high reviews to not just experience what it's like to learn in Australia, but experience what it's like to learn overseas. Again, that cross-cultural competency. How do different people learn? How do different people experience learning is hugely relevant to exchange. Finally, honours. So I've got their honours with a difference. The reason why I say that is because just for those of you that haven't, we've had some fantastic information from our previous presenters, but essentially just to add to that is that honours normally is within the standard science degree is you go and approach a supervisor to find a project that you work on your own for a year. The way the Global Challenges is different is that for the first semester of the 4th year, you will work individually on a thesis or literature review as part of a standard honours requirement. But then within the second semester, you will work as a team on a group project. And these projects are industry-based honours. We work, again, in the similar light to third year with real organisations. We've got teams working right now with people like Lockheed Martin. We've had teams with the Victorian Institute of Forensic Medicine, with the World Mosquito Program, with city councils, with government. The list is huge, and I don't have time to go through all of them, but some examples are of what our students are doing within their honours is presenting evidence to the Royal Commission into aged care abuse, developing novel sensor packages that were exhibited, or were meant to be exhibited before COVID at international technology fairs, arsenic levels in animal populations. The list goes on and on. But the key thing is you are working with real companies, and often we see students finding employment with these honours groups after their course or within their course because of the great work that they're doing. I'll just wrap up with the biggest question I think that tends to come through when I'm either at open days or other events like this, and I've just got some pictures there of the stuff students are doing. Having a ball, I do miss honours. It was an exceptionally fun year. Is where does global challenges take you? So again, the list is too long here, but I want to give you some key takeaway points here. Financial services is a major area that you can go into. This is not being a tax agent, not being an accountant. This is being a scientist, but within industry. We've also got people who are going and working in research, major research organizations. I don't have to speak for the names that you're seeing there. You probably know most of them. We've also got students working in environment, sustainability, both in Australia, and as you can see through the Department of Conservation at the top in New Zealand. So there's definitely global applications there. And I do apologize if this list is very quick, but just I'm aware of everyone's time. And finally, there's the other category, just because there is so much diversity. I've just grouped them here. Teach Australia, United Nations, itty bitty apps, which is software development and coding. The main thing is that you can do whatever you want. There is global challenges in the sense that you do accounting to become an accountant. You do global challenges to do what you're passionate about. We give you the core scientific and the additional skills, the leadership, the entrepreneurship, the science communication skills to do an incredible job at what you are passionate about. And that can include going and doing research after. As you can see, there are students that go into research. I've got 3 friends that are doing research right now as their PhDs, but there's lots of other options. Thank you to all of you for your time, and apologies for the interruption there, but I really appreciate your time on this, and really looking forward to fielding any questions that you might have at the end. Thank you very much.